Begini dia. Day 2. Keynote 6.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning, everyone. So we are now in the second day of our conference. Allow me to announce today's agenda. So for the first agenda is the keynote speech session, which will be led by our moderator. And the second is workshop session at 10 a.m., which will also be led by our moderator. And lastly is the parallel session at 11 a.m. So now we will first start with a talk by Associate Professor Dr. Siti Nur Fadilah Muhammad Noor, which will be moderated by Dr. Tyrell Azwa bin Razali. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being here today, and I would like to welcome our keynote speaker for this morning, Associate Professor Dr. Siti Nur Fadilah Muhammad Noor. Before we go on, okay. Okay. All right. So this morning we're very lucky to have Associate Professor Dr. Siti Nur Fadilah Muhammad Noor from UTHM, and she will deliver a keynote speech entitled "The Need for Needs Analysis in Language for Specific Course Design." As ESP is one of the courses that we have here in Kuliah, and of course we are extending it to LSP as well. We have the program under the Arabic language, Arabic for specific purposes, and then we are also extending it as well for the Malay department, inshallah, very soon for the master program. So before we hear from Dr. Fadilah, so allow me to read to read a little bit about her. Okay, so Dr. Siti Nur Fadilah started her teaching career in secondary school in Batu Pahat. She has also experience working in childcare as a childcare assistant at the Ohio State University Childcare. Okay, so she spent many years teaching English in sign language and English for commercial purposes at Polytechnic Johor Bahru. Okay, she also involved in many ESP curriculum designs and modules writing. Okay, from ESP, she proceeded to critical discourse analysis and systemic functional linguistics after the passing of her supervisor, David Hall, in 2013, while she pursuing her PhD at Macquarie University. Okay, currently she focuses on critical discourse analysis in tech and media and CEF profile in language. Dr. Fazila currently now holds positions as the Deputy Dean for the Penyelidikan dan Inovasi Pusat Pengajian Bahasa UTHF just now deliver here. But Dr. Fazila actually stationed at Batu Pahat, and she did her doctoral degree at UKM back in 1995, and then master degree in classical in UM 2007, and her PhD at Macquarie University 2016. One thing that I share with Dr. Fazila is that both of us graduated from the same university, Macquarie University. If I want to brag a little bit, Macquarie University ranked at 130 world US ranking and number 10 in Australia. So if you got a chance, go there. It's a good, very good university. And Dr. Fazila, research area interest, including systemic functional grammar, something that I don't like, I have to say. Okay, if you are familiar with SFL, yeah, that is something I like very much. She also interested in appraisal analysis, CDA, critical discourse analysis, professional communication, literary studies, as well as media studies. Okay, so without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Associate Professor Dr. Siti Nur Fazila Muhammad Noor to deliver her keynote speech entitled "The Need for Needs Analysis in Language for Specific Course Design." With that, thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, everyone. To the Professor and Dean. I can see that my friend and Professor Tazita, thank you very much, Harry, for the introduction. So my name is Siti Fazila. You want me to write that my name is confidently in Communila. And before I start, I would like to say my gratitude to David Hall. He was from Macquarie University. He was my first supervisor. He introduced me to ESP. That was my first topic when I wanted to do my PhD. But he passed away in 2013. So I had to start all over, changing supervisor, changing topic, and I was introduced to systemic functional linguistics by John Knox. So John Knox, thank you very much, John, for the headings in the beginning where I have to meet Michael Halliday, Rukaya Hassan. If you are on systemic functional linguistics, so those are the names that are familiar with the techniques of systemic functional linguistics. So currently I'm doing my research would be on attitude in appraisal learning, how we look at attitude of the social actors in the media, in this course, or even in the classroom setting. All right, my topic. My topic is related to this analysis in language for specific course design. Let me check first. Okay, I think one of the slides is missing. I started with the first guru of EFP was Hutchinson and Watson. If you read his book, Syllabus Design, English for Specific Purposes by Hutchinson and Watson in 1987. And before that, we had Saussure in 2001, whereby he combined Vygotsky teaser development, all right, and to find the learner's needs. And with Hutchinson and Waters, I will give you the the slide, the appropriate slide, right? Because I think that reflected. It's okay. Yeah, but it's okay. And then since it's the slide, after ES, after Hutchinson and Waters, there are many more people that come in for ESP. And today I would like to focus on language perspective purposes, which can comprise of partial nature, Arabic in any kind of language, but we also have international language. Okay. So this is one of the most recent ones, 1998. Anybody who has not been born yet in 1998? Okay. Now, for Dudley Evans and St. John, they offer a current concept of needs analysis. Number one is about professional information about the learners. That is A. Okay, I really hope that you can see that. B is the personal information about the learners. And C, English language information about the learners. D, the learner's life. So Hutchinson and Waters introduced of needs, likes, and wants. For example, I want to be tall, but I'm lacking in something else. So what do I need in order to be tall, or in order to be able to speak in English in front of people, right? Let me give you another example. The students want to be able to speak in English in specific communicative setting, right? For example, hotel and catering, students front office at the front office. They want to speak. But the teacher say, oh, the student likes grammar. They don't know how to communicate. Okay. Now the stakeholders usually, as the manager of the hotel, because they are going to a hotel, say that, oh, they need something else. They need more on communication. They don't need grammar. So there is discrepancy in terms of need, likes, and wants. So before we start any courses, before we start any language courses or anything, we need to find the needs of the students. What do they need in the first place? So in order to find the needs, we're going to look at this is what we're going to do. We're going to look at the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? The teacher. The most important thing, those who are connected with the students are usually the teachers. Okay, and some people would say, oh, let's get somebody to know through intuition. Okay, the student needs this, but actually they don't. Okay, so Dudley Evans, he looks at language learning information, which are the effective means of learning the skill, the language. So I put that D, the learner's life, the gap C and A. C is the English language information about the learners. How do they plan? You see, we have done so many plans. For example, I did something on this call, media this call, on the representation of graduates in the newspapers, in government documents. What I found that many, let's say the politicians, okay, if we apply sensitivity analysis, okay, I will put them into SML, sensitivity puts the social actors with a stand, and they position the social actors. For example, the Malaysian insider, I'm not sure whether the Malaysian insider is related or not. So the Malaysian insider said the graduates lacks communication skills. All right. When the minister say, that is the minister as the sayer, which is verbal. Okay. And then the politician said, oh, we are helping the graduates. That is relational. Okay. Or we help the graduates. So the social actor, the doer, is actually the politician. So based on this, okay, how the newspaper plays or situates the graduates inside the newspaper itself. So from this, you can find how many, let's say, the politician as the doer, the GLC as the sayer, Okay, based on this, we can make into as one of needs analysis. The needs analysis can be from can be from interviews, can be from documents, everything. Okay. Let's get back to this. What is wanted from the course? That is G and H, information about how the course will be run. Okay, we can also do needs analysis. So Dudley Evans, we are going to the next concept of needs analysis. Okay. In language for specific course requirement cycle, we have needs analysis, okay, objectives, syllabus, classroom activities, and evaluation, and it goes around and around. Usually, we are going to look at specific course or specific syllabus up to 5 years. Is it relevant to what the industry needs? Does it relevant even to the students themselves? Because as we grow older, all right, we have new generations coming in, and we have a staggered situation. We have been staggered for 3 years because of COVID, and we find, all right, even from my own personal experience, that COVID really makes us lazier. All right, we want to stay where we are. At first, we were so aggressive when the pandemic started. We wanted to go up, but after a year, we became okay. I just want to stay. I don't want to move. Whatever comes, comes. All right. So things have changed. Things have changed enormously along the years. Even when the students started to come in, they say, "Oh, madam, can we have online class instead of face-to-face?" Why? Right? Because it's difficult for us to move from one thing to another. It's difficult for us to get past it, you know. They prefer to stay where they are. So because of these changes, we need to have a look at our syllabus again and again. So that is why we need needs analysis. Because all right, this is the presentation. I left another it's not here, it's okay. I'll leave to you guys after this the latest one. Got lost. Now, the present issue, all right, the present issue of needs analysis, it should be action-oriented approach. This is based on action analysis. I like all of my people and wanted to start. He differentiate between unmet needs and also learning needs, right? The necessities, the likes, and the wants. Number one, the type of need that they need. Type of need is determined by the parties. The student or the front officer, students learning hotel and catering, usually they have four things that they need to do when they are doing when they are in the LI, all right, industrial training. Front office, they should go to the kitchen. They should be the housekeeping, all right, and they should be in the service area. So this is for example because I have been with the Polytechnic for about 10 years, teaching English and sign language, and also English for commercial purposes for hotel and catering students. So what do they need as a let's say as a restaurant operator? Okay. Serving the customers, what kind of language do they need? Okay. Next, what existing gaps need to be closed from the teaching perspective, and once what the learner perceives as a lack. Sometimes when we want to get the information to design a course, let's say for tourism or for hotel activities. Number one, the person or the personnel that is important for us to get information is actually the students themselves. Number two is the stakeholders, you know, the government, managers, the hotel managers, even ESP teachers, ESP course content lecturers. Okay. And then the learning needs. So you can see that you have the society, the company, the employer, the necessities, the teachers, the learners, and the perspective of what you want to be. So this is the present issue, CFR context for professional qualification. I go through CFR, the CFR guideline manuals. Everybody should have that because we are on the CF providing. Okay, this is basically on language constructive purpose. All right, so these are domains where the learner communicates: personal, occupational, public education. You can find this on page 80 to 85 in CFR manual. It is basically on CFR that is related to ESP or language perspective or professional communication. Non-verbal communication is in page 88. Okay. Typical tasks performed in the occupation profession for gaining results, that is in page 86 to 90. Okay. And then strategies and operation of tasks needed to reach aims, interaction, mediation, distinct from this one is at page 91 until page 13130. Okay, so this is what we need to do when we want to try to write a syllabus. Okay, look at, because we are following the CFR, we need to go to the CFR manual and identify text, channel, oral or written products they use as specific areas of life. Letter, email, dialogue, you can find from page 134 to 145, 201 and 2202. For general competency, page 146 to 181. Okay, for communicative language competencies, okay, this refers to page 33. Skills required for receiving and producing messages, linguistics, social linguistics, and practice linguistics, scenarios. You can find that. Another one is vocabulary on page 208. Okay, you can refer to the CFR manual. Grammar, page 209 to 11. Pronunciation, 211 to 12. Approach to mistakes and errors, 214 to 15. Assignments, page 29. Assessments, page 212 to 267. So the types of needs. Language used on the job, what kind of language that they use. So this is very important when we are trying to go to create a syllabus or to prepare for some language used on the job. Because I used to be in the hotel catering setting. So one of the most popular person that did on ethnography was Dr. Mina Harun. She's from UUM. I don't know whether she's still in service or not, but what she did, she sat she became a non-observant participant. She sat there for about 3 days or 4 days looking at how the front officer communicate with the customers, how the front officer communicate with the supervisors, with the managers. Okay, language on the job. That is the first thing that we need to have. And it's going to be tiring. So if you are having a LSP or design like for the whole program, the first thing that you should start is identifications of the learner. All right, identifications of the stakeholders. So that will be the first aspect. Okay. Language for further academic and or specialist training. This one is for the teachers themselves. Okay, how are you going to teach to let the teacher understand what are the students need? So when we are doing action research, when we are doing discourse analysis, that is considered as insight. Look back at the teacher review of what other people have done. So that is also quite something else. Literature review is very important. So if people say, oh, the student did this, the student did that, that is only intuition. And in our academic world, you cannot just say that, that is a hearsay. It needs to be done as a research. You do the action research first. And what do you find? So based on what you have found, then you can draw up, roll down, and have a look. Okay, this is based on. And one more thing that we need to consider is the cultural situation, of okay, the culture of the students themselves. Let's say, okay, this is an example from if you want to teach English in sign language to a group of, because my experience was based on that. Okay, so these students, all right, hard hearing, disabled students, they understand only things that are on literal meaning. Okay, if I say it's raining cats and dogs, they don't understand. They would say, oh, that's really cats and dogs outside. So this, you need to know the needs. They don't need to know, oh, it's raining cats and dogs. No, they only know, oh, it rains. Okay, is it very heavy or is it very light? Okay, so that is the thing that the one of the things that you need to consider in this now. If you want to teach them, let's say the service, okay, in the restaurants, they will be doing service. There is one CIC I think in Kinabalu that hire only hard hearing students. So you can see how they communicate, right? Let's say if I want to communicate with them, they would ask, other class. So I know that is like my special other class, and I have to know that's it. They wouldn't go like normal students. All right, do we have class today? No, they wouldn't say like that. As long as it gets them to communicate, and they don't understand the concept of it's not okay for you to make boys and girls lapan. All right, it's not. They don't understand. For them, they have their own race, which is hard hearing, special needs. So those are their needs in order to learn language, just to understand. So they don't go for grammar. So those are the needs. Let's say if you are teaching international students, the first thing that they need is about our culture, how it differs from them. That for us it's okay for men and women to talk, but for them it's not okay. That women needs to be separated from men, or their spelling or their way of pronunciation is different from us. So these are the needs that they need, and what are the lacks. You need to identify what are their needs and what they lack and what do they want. Usually the needs are, we feel what they need. All right, the stakeholder will say, oh, this is what they lack. The students want what they want. So these are the different language to get through the process. Okay, this is the synonym phonics analysis adapted from Brown. What it is about wants, the desires, necessities for lacks. Okay, you can use this while you are doing research. Okay, the gaps, the motivation of everything is analysis, the deficiencies, or the requirements. What do they require in order to get to in order for us to develop and deliver? Based on the needs analysis, requests, prerequisites, essentials, X+1, X what the students know already. So background knowledge of the students are really important. The gender, especially the gender, and then the information, the knowledge about the language, the target language is very important. Okay, let's say if I want to learn Arabic, I don't know anything about Arabic except that when we read the Quran, even the tajweed, sometimes we get messed up. All right. So what do I need? Do I need to learn the Arabic alphabet first, or the Arabic sounds? How does it differ from ba and ta, for example? So we start from the basic level. If students want to learn bahasa, for example, which word should they acquire first? Is it greeting? Is it vulgar word? All right. You know, we are teaching English for preparatory English course for intermediate. Right. The first thing that they came in my class, madam, what is bodoh? We didn't get that. They heard inside the graph when on their way to the class, you know. So they would, is that a need for them to know that word? Okay, and so these are the things when we are organizing okay, another thing that we need to know is about the stakeholder perspective. Who are the stakeholders? Usually our own university. Industry plays a very vital role in the needs analysis. It's the industry, because they are the stakeholders. Sometimes you can go to the industry and it's, oh, they do need that, even though it's not grammatically correct, as long as they can understand the communication that we're trying to give them, right? So that is what the industry wants. Okay, but we need to understand what the needs and what the students have. The different stakeholders with the actual requirements of the target situations, students, teachers, governing bodies, sponsors, and employers. Okay, now when we talk about graduates, they lack communication skills. But what kind of communication skills that we need to learn? Everybody's saying, oh, our graduates like communication skills, our graduates like that, and there are so many courses. So from these courses, if you want to do a syllabus, you want to design a syllabus, look at what the niche statement says. Okay, I mentioned that in the beginning that whatever the news institution plays a very powerful role in the discourse of graduate employability. Where do they put the graduates? Okay, look back at the newspaper. Read today's newspaper, Newsday Time. If we try to look at the graduate employability, is there any sentence or any words that represent graduates? Is there a graduate that talk that had a stand in the news? For example, I like UIA because it provides me with the knowledge that I wanted for when I want to work. Can you find that? Can we find that? Or UTHM has provided me with the knowledge. I gained a lot from UTHM. Do we have that? No, there is no voice. So the voice of the graduates, the voice of the students, or even the voice of the parents. Do we have the voice of the parents? This is also needs analysis. All right. Where do we put parents? Where do we put them? Do they have a voice? Let's say parents. Most of the times that I read in the newspapers when we talk about parents, oh, my son did not come home since 2 days ago. All right, that is where the newspaper is putting the parents as a sayer who, if we look at the attitude, who are very sad, who have a negative feelings or negative effects of the situation. All right, there is not much. Okay, this is very interesting if you want to look at the needs analysis of the students based on whatever the media has said. You look at the newspaper, that in which you can do as a problem statement, the gap. Okay. All right, this is a network of stakeholders. I use as a front office assistant. Okay. The stakeholders include hotel guests. Okay. We can find a lot, especially in TikTok or in the social media, how the front officer or the front office assistant do not know some of the terms which had been used. Okay, there is a rat, there is a cat in my room. Okay, and I got a situation here. There is an alligator inside my room. You know what is an alligator? It's actually a lizard. So that lizard doesn't have a word for lizard. Oh, I have alligator inside my room. Can you come? Okay, so that is cultural, a different culture. So these are the things that we need to consider when we are doing it. Co-workers, all right, the co-workers, supervisors. How the supervisors give instructions. If you have a foreign labor in the housekeeping department, usually we see that in the hotel, they would have a different understanding when you are telling them something, okay, on the instructions. ESP cost designer. This is what we are doing, right? As a cost designer, as a teachers, cost content lecturers. Let's say if you want to design, okay, a syllabus design for hotel, catering, or tourism, we need to be very in a very good relationship with the cost content lecturers, because through this you can know the language. Because let's say in hotel and catering, they do have, all right, restaurant operations booked from the cost content lecturer. But as a cost designer, as a language specialist, every one of you, you need to meet them, all right, to be with them, together with them, all right, so that you can design a course that is suitable for their students. ESP teachers, okay, so basically we are from general English, but we go for specific. How specific is it? I was like in one of my slides. How specific do we want to be specific? Right? It depends on how long is the course. Is it going to be a 2-week course? Let's say, okay, let me give you a scenario. We do have TikTok accounts, right? Okay. Let's say, all right, in TikTok, I only log into TikTok when I want to buy online clothes. All right, there are so many shops. Okay, that one is also needs analysis. We can use that as needs analysis if you want to teach, all right, vendors or sellers, not somebody says sailor, S-A-L-L-E-R. It's supposed to be sellers, right? S-E-L-L-E-R. On how to communicate effectively if they want to sell their products. How are you going to design that? Needs analysis. What do they need? They need a softer voice. Okay. I hope I'm not going to be banned. Okay. But I can see that a few brands, they will like shouting when they want to sell their products. Or they would use a different way. This is what we call, now needs analysis also involve multi-models. Okay, multi-models meaning that what the colors that you wear, how far the camera is from you, the position of the camera, is it from top or from bottom? How you look at the camera, even your eye movement is called multi-model. So you can request and evaluate 2004 or 2005 on multi-model. But they are more on systemic functional linguistics as a kind of approach. Okay, and there are many approaches on ESP, for example, SWILS, where they focus more on genre analysis. Okay, genre analysis is called. Okay, so this is what I mentioned just now. The needs analysis process involves target situation analysis. Okay. Identify tasks, activities, the skill learners will be using for what the learners should ideally know and be able to do. Discourse analysis. Most of us, we do discourse analysis. What happens inside the classroom? What happens? How the minister, the prime minister is speaking. We look at we from the point of view of critical discourse analysis, okay, or pragmatics. So those are that can be used as in analysis too. All right, discourse analysis descriptions of the language used in the classroom conversation. You can read Susan Agate's Conversation Analysis 2004. Okay, because it's really the way she puts it is really good. Please go to Agate's Conversation Analysis. Susan Agate 2004. Present situation analysis, identification of what the learners do and do not know and all cannot do in relation to the demands of the target situation. This is also done by Chris Kenyon. He has passed away in 2014, I think. Learner factor analysis, identification of learner factors such as their motivation and how they learn their intersections of the needs. Okay, and teaching context analysis. Now, when we are doing action research, sometimes we write down what the students do or what the students see inside the classroom, right? That can also use as needs analysis. Meaning that, let's say let's say you're doing interview inside the classroom. Okay, when the students say that what is my question was to one of the students. What is your hobby? Oh, I want to make cars. Okay. Do you mean that you have a die-cast car, small cars? I want to make cars, not die. So that is the present situation analysis. You can also use that, meaning that they don't know their lack of the understanding of certain words. Okay. Take that down. Okay, so that when you go into the next classroom, you write something new for the students to do. That is what we call by needs analysis. Whatever we do inside the classroom, action research. Oh, we find something this is wrong, so we improve. We do action research and we present in the conference. In the academic world, it needs to be what? It needs to be recorded so that when you want to write a keyword, meaning that you are referring to someone else. So even now, I'm not referring, I'm based on what I know from the books, from experience. Even from my experience, I cannot say, oh, this is what I don't know. I need to record it in the form of paper, research article, so that people can cite and you can also cite based on, because people want proof. Okay, people want proof. That's why most of the teachers nowadays they go for action research. Teaching context analysis, identification of factors related to the environment in which the course will run, the consideration of what realistically the ASP course and teacher can offer. This is really confusing. Okay, so target situation analysis, discourse analysis, learner factor analysis, present situation analysis, and teaching context analysis. Okay, let's go to the methodology of instance. So we start with the identifications of learners. You want to, for example, you want to improve on the sellers in TikTok, how they communicate, right? You identify the who are they? Are they the graduates who are unemployed graduates? Are they single mothers, single parents? Are they foreigners who had been staying in Malaysia for so long? That's why they sell. I found one seller that sells products from Turkey, and he's from Turkey, and he speaks English, and sometimes he can speak Malay. And you want to improve on that, and you want to invite them into your class. You look at them, all right? Do they understand about the culture? Let's say if they are single parents, single mothers, or unemployed graduates, you should know the background of their education too. How far have they known English? Do you want to improve on their Bahasa or do you want to improve on their English? So the learner's background is really, really important. So you start with the learners. You identify all the learners. You observe. Observation can be done also. Okay, by scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on Facebook, scrolling on Shopping Live. Okay, this is where you get the gap. Okay. Types of information to select: interviews, questionnaires, interviews. Back when I did the syllabus design for hotel and catering, I used the same questionnaire for the stakeholders, for the English language, for the English course, so for the course content lecturers, and also for this is to know the discrepancy. So when you are doing questionnaire, okay, you know what you want to find. You have determined of what you want to find. So when you are dealing with the questionnaire, try to write, I need this. I want this. I don't think I have this. The students need to do this. Need to do. The student must do this. So the modality of the word of the questionnaire is also important because you want to know the needs, the likes, and the wants of the students. Okay, questionnaire, interviews, course content lecturers, the stakeholders. Now, from the interviews, because I'm also doing on interviews, from the interviews, you can know the attitude. Because when we are doing interviews, when we want to look at it, when we want to get the findings, right? I will look at the attitude, whether this person is happy, this person likes, how do they look at, how do they appreciate, and what are their judgment or what are their behavior on a certain topic, right? Observation of interactions and analysis of language used in the target situation. This is done by Mina Harun back in 2006, I think, on the hotel and students. Test of performance and observations of ESP learners carrying out, and then start replicating those in the target situations. There are so many books which comply to this CFR, in which we can use in order to know this background. Perhaps you can have a formatting test when the students come in, right? So this is the advantage and disadvantages of questionnaire. Okay, less time and energy consuming to administer, offer great non-meaty to respondents. In the disadvantages, self-selecting bias. Not everyone who receive the questionnaire returns it, and those who do have different attitudes and those who do not. Okay, because sometimes we can get like 100 questionnaire, 100 questions in the questionnaire. You get bias. You would say, oh, I don't care. Okay, fine. Okay, agree. Not agree. We don't really read it. All right, we just say. Okay. Do not allow for spontaneous response. Lack of opportunity to clarify issue. Respondents may consult with one another before answering. Okay. So, you answer. You think like this? So it's also, so those are the disadvantages. Interviews are more useful for collecting that information, in which you can look at the attitude too, even the moves. Right, opportunity for questions to be explained and responses clarified. So what are the disadvantages of interviews? More time consuming. Quality of the data obtained depends on the skills of the interviewer. Let's say you are going for, you want to design a course for IELTS speaking. All right, for IELTS speaking, usually there are 3 parts in IELTS speaking. Part 1, part 2, part 3. Not one where you will be asked questions and you just answer. If you extend the question, if you extend the answer, then you can get band 6, band 7, or band 8, depends, because they're looking at the accuracy. Part 2 is more on the description of what you answer in part 1. So, as an interviewer, and part 3 is the extension of description from part 2. So, if the candidates reply in a different way, all right, you need to manipulate the questions in order to get the response from the candidates. All right, so as an interviewer, I think you can, there is a book on qualitative interviews, on how to conduct interviews. I'll give you the book later. Right? I forgot the writer, but that is a very good qualitative. The interviewer may introduce his or her bias. You can find that. And if you want to do syllabus design for, let's say, for PPD, all right? Because some PPD, they need to write speech. Ask them to watch interviews for politicians. All right, this is very interesting, whereby you can also look at the multimodal. If you're lying, which eye movement should you use? If you are remembering something, which eye movement that you need to use? So this is very interesting. This is whatever that we got, all right, from the setting, from the environment, use that as your needs analysis. Okay. Less standardized, for example, the quality of the data may vary when different interviewers are used. So that's why in a research, usually we use only one interviewer to interview people. So this is the typology of research methods that needs analysis. Okay, I have discussed on interviews and questionnaires. So we look at non-expert intuitions. Low cost, low evidence, disadvantages, unreliable, not evidence-based. And then examples from the literature, we found that not using systematic approaches to research, unstructured interviews, okay, exploratory character means that interview may include aspects of the interviewer and not previously considered. So these are the advantages. And those who are doing this, you can find Home and Shaola Seng and Jasso Aguilar in 1999. Jasso Aguilar had also made something in 2005. Observation. Shoden and J84 and Lulala in 2002 had also done observation. Even Mina Harun from UUM had also done observation on what you are doing. I mean, on the students when they are in fact the specific setting. Text-based analysis. This is based on textbooks. You can look at the textbook that is based on needs analysis. Textbooks can also be used as needs analysis. Why? Because as teachers, we tend to get so many textbooks. All right, and then when we are teaching, we are the one who teach it. So we know what the students need. We think we know what the students need based on the textbook. Malaysian textbooks, do you think it is suitable for the students in the secondary schools? English. Some teachers would say they're not because they're not culturally specific. It does not represent Malaysian culture. Okay, whereby those who are recommending the textbook, oh, they need to know all those cultures in British and in Britain, in the UK, they need to know what these people are doing, you know, in the Western country. So textbooks can also be part of this analysis. You analyze that. Is it going to help the students later on? And how the students feel when they read the text, the textbook. Okay, you can ask their opinion, right? But that can also be done as a gap. Even the module that we made for them, right? You can ask them, as reviews. So advantages for text-based analysis might yield important insights. Okay, this is done by Bastukman. Alan Bastukman has also wrote few books on ESP and language processing purpose. And Moreland in 2003. Bastukman books, the latest one will be, I think, 2005. Okay, and we can have a look. But for needs and for ESP, all right, please go back to Hutchinson and Waters, because Hutchinson and Waters really look at what the learner needs. All right. Diaries, journals, and logs. Okay, this is a sample from questionnaire of needs analysis. Okay, and this is from Hukta et al. 2013. This is from a book, because she's doing on CEF profile. Personal information is the most important thing. And then knowledge of foreign language, all right, language level scale, okay. Knowledge of the what of English for your career, and then your expectation for the course. So these are the elements in the questionnaire that you can have, right? Based on a holistic approach of needs analysis. The structures of CEF professional profiles, you should have number one, target professionalism, occupational information, all right, and then context information, the most frequent routine situations that they have, the most demanding situations that they will have later, and then snapshots. What does it mean by snapshot? Snapshot means what they do, or you can ask your alumni. All right, so this is very important for lecturers, for the universities to be really good with the alumni, because this is what the University of Leiden is doing. They get back to the alumni and they show the alumni, what do you think of this design? What do you think of the course? All right. And then the alumni, especially if they are in the industry, they can give like point of view, their point of view. All right. So this is the framework for this analysis. Okay. Number one is who? Who needs it? Students, managers, supervisors, sponsors, because you also need to design one day English for managers, right? English for the industry, English for engineering managers in a specific place. All right. Let's say a company in KL, Kuala Lumpur, they need design a syllabus. You need to teach them. So you need to design first. Number one, look at the learners, identification of learners, identification of stakeholders. Number two, methodology. Okay, when we talk about identification of learners, identification of stakeholders, we look at all the stakeholders that are involved. And then we look at how, okay, and what, necessities, needs, and then how are we going to get all this information? Language audit, discourse analysis, ethnography, task analysis, literature review. I mentioned in this one in the first place. Literature review is very important. It needs to be recorded, information that needs to be recorded. So this is step in analysis, needs analysis in ESP course design. So identify stakeholders. I'm reiterating that. Okay, consult previous needs analyses, okay, and then devise best method, select and analyze the data, interviews, questionnaire, all right, observation, translate findings into list of communicative events, and then determine syllabus items based on the above, and then evaluate the course. You can evaluate the course after the program has been done, or even after 3 to 5 years. Usually after a program specific, like if A bachelor's degree is 4 years. Okay, you evaluate the course. All right, I take a sample of CDF profile, profession profile. And these are my references. Dr. Goodman, Dr. Evans. I have all the books. If you want to email me later, if you want to know more, you can. All right, you all feel free to contact me. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. So, if I can actually sort of like conclude or summarize what she's been talking about, I think the most important thing is that it can actually be done in our own classroom, right? So, as you mentioned, a lot of opportunities around us, a lot of like things we can look into when we do the needs analysis. So, it's not necessarily only 100% about doing what could you going out for collecting data or surveys, but then again, technically, essentially everything around us as well. Is that right? Okay, so before we end, so we are going to open for questions from the floor or anyone from the Zoom perhaps. Any questions? Yes, okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor, for your valuable insights. When you mentioned about sign language, so it triggered me on the generation that we have now, when they prefer concise nations. So when it comes to design a course for them, for example, okay, how do you see the importance of giving more explanation for them to understand better? Because now, right now, I'm designing a module of Tadabbur Al-Quran, understanding Al-Quran for deaf people. Okay, but again, when it comes to looking at our generation now, they prefer to have instant information. So how are you going to balance between what they should know and their preference?
Thank you for the question. That is very tough. That's a very tough question to answer. I will try to answer based on my experience of teaching English in sign language. As we mentioned earlier, they are very straightforward. They understand literal meanings. Madam, what class today? That's it. They don't have this kind of, madam, do you have class today? So when we want to teach Quran, for example, they know the concept of religion. This is haram. This is sunnah. You must do. All right? Because they don't have the concept of halal haram yet. You know, when they are doing their teenage years. When we are talking about the sign for this one is oneness for them. This is for God, for Tuhan. So when we are teaching the Quran, in a way, all right, this is from the perspective of religion. Allah makes them understand better than us. Actually, you know, if you are trying to say, okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, okay, in the name of Allah, the most merciful. We cannot teach them like the word Bismillah. They know that there is an alif, there is a ba, there is a sentence there. We just need to show that. But the most important thing is that they understand it themselves. There is a situation where the students say that, oh, we don't mind sitting next to each other because our race is that good. We are not Chinese, we are not Indian. For them. Okay, so it's very challenging. Do you think there is a need for you to learn sign language in order to communicate with them? Yes. go, this is my experience from I was doing my master's on the bus. I saw one man, looking for the number on the bus. And he was like, that they have facial expression. Their facial expression is very important. They're looking, I was like, JB, this expression, JB. Okay, no berapa. All right, so he said, oh. So we look together. I was using my mimic. I tried to say something, but I'm looking. You can see my expression. This is what we call by multimodal. Smile when you say something. That is how one of the most prominent speaker that I like is our PM Tech, Anwar Ibrahim. The way he stresses things, even for Mahathir, Tun Mahathir, the way he says it, he would stress on the word. And when you see Siti Nurhaliza singing, you like it so much because when she sings, she smiles. That's how. So when we come to try to design a syllabus for hard hearing students, then once that person knows that sign language, they will talk, communicate with you until the journey, 4 hours journey. Then this much was like, oh, you see her, cantik-cantik tak boleh cakap. That is how. American Sign Language is a universal sign language. You start with a spell, all right? And you can use it anywhere around the world, because you have the same sign. Water, road, restaurant, hey, Mara, it is space. This is clever. So anything got to do with your mind, it's up here. So this sign also evolved. If you have a baby, you can. But nowadays, they don't use pregnant or have babies. They use that. Why? This is a total communication because when you are pregnant, you turn to dominant. So try to use total communication. Because especially total communication, mimic, facial expression. This is really important if you are doing online. Sometimes your voice tends to wander away, right? They won't listen. But if you want to say something, listen. Your facial expression is very important. So for teachers, especially in primary school, all right, your action. I remember my first time teaching in school, all right, I was teaching English. English is like the third language in a small school in Batu Pahat. So the headmaster, the late headmaster, was saying that, when we teach, we need to, sometimes students don't understand about how we teach, sometimes we have to look at ourselves, sometimes lipstick kurang merah, I was like, lipstick kurang merah, things like that. That is multimodal what they see. All right, so when you are teaching like especially, you need to make sure that the camera is where it's supposed to be, your facial expression. Ali, ask them to look at you. This is the frame when we are doing sign language. This is the frame. Don't go lower, don't go up. This is the frame. Total communication. Your facial expression, happy that you're happy to see them. If you're angry with them, we can learn from emoji actually. So does it answer?
Translation with some of the
Yes.
they can understand, but some of them really Spanish.
Yes.
We when it comes to sign language, so how are we going to present the information to the sign language so that they can understand the special? Let's take now.
Give me one ayah, for example. The most merciful, the most gracious, like even gracious, even the word Bismillah, right?
Normally you can understand to translation.
Yes.
When he-
Reading behind the lines. Yeah, true. Like I told you earlier, it's raining outside, cats and dogs. And they were like, where's the cats and dogs? So they don't understand that literal meaning. But as time goes by, inshallah, Allah makes everyone can understand Quran better. All right, through their experience. But
that this is our responsibility as a normal person to make. Don't. All right, that's why they are special needs. Okay, by giving them empathy. So that's the way. All right, thank you.
All right. I think we are pressing with time at the moment now. Dr. Ju is waiting for her next workshop. I think again, I think we have to stop here. And thank you very much again to Dr. Associate Professor Dr. Siti Nur Fazilah Muhammad Noor. Okay. All right, so Dr. Fazila just sort of like next door. She's around she's actually based in Batu Pahat, but she's come around here once in a while. So I think I think a lot of things that we can actually work together with Dr. Fazila. In fact, during the breakfast just now, we were talking about let's develop a module. Okay, so it's a lot of opportunities for us actually to work with Dr. Fazila, and because she's nearby, and a lot of things you can be done in ESP. So I think I would not take more of your time. So I will pass the mic to the MC. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Doctor, for that. For the very insightful speech. So now please welcome Dr. Shahrul Nizam to the stage to present a small token of appreciation to our keynote speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Siti Nur Fazilah Muhammad Noor. Okay, so now moving on to our next session is the workshop session by Dr. Julaina binti Nopiah, which will be moderated by Dr. Muhammad Suhaizi bin Suhaimi. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang saya hormati barisan pensyarah, peserta, pembentang serta hadirin yang dihormati sekalian. Langkah diatur, siap sedia, berkorban kasih, hamba turutkan. Tampil menawan, siapakah dia? Ayuh semua, hamba perkenalkan. Okey, tepuk sikit. Okey, kita teruskan kepada sesi moderator kita pada sesi workshop ataupun bengkel kita pada pagi ini. Pembicara kita atau speaker kita sudah ada di hadapan. Saya perkenalkan sedikit biodata beliau. Nama Dr. Julaina binti Nopiah, merupakan pensyarah kanan di Universiti Islam Antarabangsa Kampus Pagoh. Kelahiran Bukit Kepong Muar, dan beliau menerima pendidikan ijazah sarjana muda linguistik daripada Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, melanjutkan pelajaran di peringkat ijazah sarjana linguistik juga di Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, dan menerima pendidikan tertinggi di Institut Alam dan Tamadun Melayu Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, dalam ijazah Doktor Falsafah di Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia. Bidang kajian beliau berfokus kepada semantik dan juga pragmatik, spesifik kepada peribahasa dan juga akal budi Melayu. Tanpa membuang masa, mempersilakan Dr. Julaina Nopiah dengan tajuknya Gastronomi Peribahasa dan Akal Budi Melayu. Dipersilakan, Doktor.
Boleh. Dah on.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okey, yang berbahagia dekan kita, Profesor Madia, Dr. Azrul, yang berbahagia tetamu kita hari ini iaitu Dr. Siti Fazilah, timbalan-timbalan dekan, para pensyarah dan hadirin yang saya hormati sekalian. Baiklah, kalau kita lihat di skrin di hadapan, telah tertera saya punya apakah tajuk yang saya akan kupaskan pada hari ini, iaitu berkisarkan gastronomi, peribahasa dan akal budi Melayu. Okey, baik, sebenarnya boleh saya katakan workshop ini untuk sidang saya adalah berkisarkan saya punya penulisan buku, iaitu buku gastronomi, peribahasa dan akal budi Melayu yang mana telah diterbitkan pada tahun 2022. Okey, baiklah. Oleh kerana saya nak bercerita pasal akal budi, sebelum kita sentuh berhubung dengan makanan, mari kita lihat satu pantun Melayu. Okey, di sini. Apa guna berkain batik kalau tidak memakai capal? Apalah guna beristeri cantik kalau tak pandai menumbuk sambal? Okey, yang mana sebenarnya kalau kita lihat daripada pantun ini. Okey, kenapa saya letakkan pantun ini di hadapan? Sebab pantun ini telah mendatangkan kontroversi di negara kita sekitar pada tahun 2020. Okey, waktu tu yang mana DBP meletakkan di media sosial pantun ini dan mendapat sambutan hangat daripada masyarakat pembaca media sosial. Okey, yang mana bila saya melihat komen-komen daripada netizen itu, kebanyakan yang tidak berpuas hati adalah daripada perempuan. Okey, perempuan tak kutuk orang lain, kita kutuk kita. Maksudnya. Okey, perempuan. Sebab apa? Kenapa terjadinya kontroversi dalam pantun ini? Sebab mereka mentafsir makna daripada harfiah. Okey, di situ timbulnya kontroversi. Yang mana kita sedia maklum, dalam bahasa Melayu, ungkapan-ungkapan Melayu seperti peribahasa Melayu, pantun Melayu, simpulan bahasa Melayu, dia sebenarnya tidak boleh dilihat secara selapis. Makna harfiah, kita tak boleh. Kita kena lihat daripada mana? Daripada mata hati. Itu yang dikatakan oleh Hasan Ahmad. Dekat mana mata hati? Dekat sini. Okey, di pemikiran kita, bukan pemikiran yang rendah, tapi pemikiran yang tinggi. Jadi kalau kita tak mampu untuk mengolah, kita tak perlu berkata sedemikian. Okey, yang mana sebenarnya peribahasa ini kalau saya baca daripada apa komen-komen daripada netizen, okey, dia mengatakan memang sekarang tak wajar dah. Orang perempuan tak payah nak tumbuk sambal pakai blender. Sebab kita dah ada teknologi. Itu yang telah diperkatakan. Lah, apa cantik-cantik duduk kat dapur? Kita beli je. Itu yang telah diperkatakan. Tetapi sebenarnya yang sepatutnya melenting waktu itu bukanlah perempuan tetapi lelaki. Betul saya katakan ini sebab dia berkisarkan daripada akal budi. Kenapa saya katakan lelaki? Sebab pantun ini sebenarnya sindiran kepada seorang lelaki yang mempunyai isteri cantik tapi tidak dapat dipuaskan nafsunya daripada batin. Itu dia. Okey, sebab apa sekarang kita lihat sebenarnya perumpamaan Melayu sangat tinggi. Yang mana kita ada antan, kita ada ataupun penggunaan antan, alu, lesung, yang mana orang-orang Melayu pada masa dulu digunakan perkataan-perkataan itu, objek-objek itu untuk meletakkan sesuatu maksud, terutamanya maksud itu berbentuk tabu. Kita larang untuk disebut. Kita larang sebut di halayak. Jadi untuk maniskan rasa sebutannya, dia menggunakan perkataan ataupun objek-objek tertentu untuk mewakili apa yang hendak disampaikan. Okey, itu kita lihat daripada segi akal budi permulaannya. Ini mukadimah ni. Okey, kadang-kadang bila nak lihat akal budi Melayu, kita lihat perumpamaan orang Melayu dulu. Contohnya, lihat resmi padi, janganlah jadilah resmi padi, jangan jadi resmi lalang. dua perbandingan kalau kita lihat daripada kedua-dua tumbuhan ini hampir sama fizikal dia. Apa yang berbeza? Satu bermanfaat, satu lagi perosak. Itu yang kita nampak. Kenapa orang Melayu mengatakan begitu? Okey, yang mana kita tahu fitrah, okey, botani, tumbuhan padi, apabila dia dah mempunyai padi yang sedang masak, dia akan menunduk ke bumi. Jadi orang Melayu dulu, dia mengumpamakan dengan orang yang berilmu. Semakin tinggi kita punya ilmu, jangan sampai mendongak ke langit, tunduk ke bumi. Itu falsafah yang telah diketengahkan oleh orang Melayu pada masa dulu. Tapi kadang-kala saya melihat di Sawaring tu, kita ada padi kan? Banyak padi. Okey, tapi setiap kali saya lalu tu saya tertarik dengan padi-padi tu. Rasanya kenapa saya tertarik? Sebab padi-padi tu dia dah tak macam padi dulu. Dia masak pun dia tegak. Dia tak menunduk dah. Dia masak pun dia tegak. Jadi kadang-kadang saya lihat, begitu ke rasanya realiti pada hari ini? Yang mana kalau suatu hari dulu masyarakat kita terkenal dengan merendah diri, tetapi sekarang kita lihat di dalam media sosial, semuanya kita tunjukkan. Itu perbandingan yang mana perbezaan di antara masyarakat dan dulu dan kini, dan kita lihat daripada segi aspek padi dan lalang. Itu perumpamaan. Sebelum saya masuk daripada yang lebih lanjut lah ya. Okey, di sini saya nak memetik sedikit apa yang telah Pak Tenas katakan. Okey, sudah menjadi adat Melayu, bahasanya indah mengandung ilmu. Di tengah sesuai, di tepi sejudu, difahami orang berbilang suku. Apa tanda Melayu bertuah? Bahasanya halus, perkataan indah. Di dalamnya ada petuah amanah, di sana melekat ilmu berfaedah. Itu yang saya katakan, setiap apa yang telah diungkapkan oleh nenek moyang kita terlebih dahulu, ada falsafah, ada nilai, ada ilmu. Dekat mana nak cari ilmu? Kita yang kena cungkil. Orang lain tak boleh nak cungkil. Siapa yang nak cungkil? Kita yang kena cungkil. Kalau kita tak cungkil, kita tak tahu sebenarnya apa yang telah diperkatakan oleh nenek moyang kita dahulu. Okey, saya teruskan kepada slide seterusnya, iaitu gastronomi Melayu. Okey, kadang-kadang orang tanya kat saya, apa itu gastronomi? Okey, apa itu gastronomi? Tak semua orang tahu bidang gastronomi itu apa. Bila kita mencerita pasal gastronomi ni, dia berkisar kepada makan dan makanan dan segala yang berkaitan dia. Maksudnya cara makan, segala yang berkaitan makan dan makanan. Tetapi sebenarnya dalam konteks kajian saya, dia tak adalah berfokus kepada cara makan Melayu misalnya. Sebab apa saya meneliti tentang gastronomi Melayu? Okey, bila kita lihat daripada makanan, makanan itu secara tidak langsung dapat memperkenalkan siapa masyarakat dan apakah budayanya. Percaya? Contoh nasi lemak. Nasi lemak itu orang Melayu. Roti canai, kita dah sedia maklum, bangsa apa yang makan roti canai? Begitu juga dengan makanan-makanan lain. Sebab itu saya rasa di antara satu cara untuk kita lihat akal budi Melayu dulu, kenapa kita tak lihat daripada segi aspek makanan. Cuma makanan yang saya nyatakan di sini bukanlah makanan nasi lemak, okey, ataupun makanan-makanan lain, mi Bandung, laksa Johor, kita tak lihat yang itu. Okey, tetapi kita lihat daripada segi pemilihan objek makanan yang mana didekat dengan masyarakat Melayu. Okey, dan kalau kita lihat daripada gastronomi Melayu itu, dia tak boleh lari daripada segi budaya. Sebab macam saya kata tadilah, makanan itu memperkenalkan budaya dan masyarakat. Okey, jadi dalam tafsiran yang telah diberikan dalam Kamus Dewan, okey, Kamus Perdana saya dapat 3 tafsiran inilah. Okey, yang pertama bermaksud tamadun dan peradaban, yang keduanya bermaksud kemajuan fikiran atau akal budi, dan yang ketiga ialah bersifat budaya yang mempunyai kebudayaan. Dan daripada saya punya penelitian, saya mengambil definisi yang kedua, iaitu melihat kemajuan fikiran dan kita lihat akal budi yang hendak ditonjolkan. Okey, seperti mana yang saya katakan tadi, kita melihat daripada aspek objek dan image. Apa itu objek? Objek itu ialah leksikal utama yang digunakan di dalam ungkapan-ungkapan tertentu, manakala image itu ialah aspek pemaknaannya. Okey, apa makna dia? Okey, dan apakah perkaitan di antara leksikal yang digunakan dalam ungkapan tersebut? Itu yang saya gunakan dalam saya punya penelitian. Okey, seterusnya kita lihat daripada segi metafora. Okey, kalau nak cerita pasal metafora sebenarnya, apa yang Maxwell kata, nak lihat orang Melayu, lihatlah peribahasa dan pantun. Itu orang putih kata. Orang putih kata Okey, mengatakan bahawa nak kenal lebih lanjut orang Melayu, lihatlah kepada pantun dan peribahasanya. Maksudnya apa? Sebenarnya ungkapan-ungkapan yang telah diberikan oleh masyarakat Melayu dahulu penuh dengan syarat dengan pengetahuan ataupun yang menunjukkan siapakah orang Melayu. Itu sebenarnya maksud yang telah dikatakan oleh Maxwell. Dan berhubung dengan kajian metafora pula, okey, banyak pengkaji yang kita sedia maklum sama ada sarjana di dalam, okey, yang maksudnya sarjana tempatan kita ataupun sarjana luar, telah mengutarakan ataupun membuat satu kajian penyelidikan tentang bahasa kiasan. Okey, iaitu mengkhusus kepada metafora Melayu, sebagai contohnya Goddard. Okey, lepas tu kita ada Curtis Black. Okey, dan ada beberapa pengkaji lain yang telah memberikan pengkhususan kepada metafora Melayu. Okey, dan boleh dikatakan masyarakat Melayu itu sangat erat dengan alam sekeliling. Sebab tu bila saya katakan tadi, kita kata jangan jadi seperti lalang, jadi seperti padi. Okey, ibarat timun dengan durian. Semua tu ada dekat sekeliling mereka. Dia orang tak tengok tempat lain. Sampai gunung Daik bercabang 3 tu pun sendiri yang dilihat. Pengamatan yang terus dilihat. Bukan yang tiada bersama-sama mereka. Itu kita lihat macam mana orang Melayu dulu, okey, dia mempertalikan apa yang ada di sekitarnya dan dijadikan dalam bentuk ungkapan-ungkapan tertentu. Okey, dan kita lihat pula apakah yang telah dikatakan sebagai akal budi. Okey, akal budi kita lihat sekarang, saya rasa dalam 2018 dan ke atas, banyak kajian-kajian yang berkaitan dengan akal budi. Okey, akal budi bukan semestinya kita lihat daripada segi ungkapan-ungkapan ini. Malah kalau kita lihat daripada seni bina Melayu itu sendiri. Sebagai contohnya, kenapa tangga Melayu, kalau kita lihat tangga rumah Melayu yang dulu bukan rumah sekarang tak bertangga. Tangga dalam. Dia tak tangga kat luar. Tapi orang Melayu dulu rumahnya bertangga 5. 5 tu tangga dia. Kalau kita lihat anak tangga dia ada 5. Kenapa dia 5? Sebab rukun Islam. Ya, Dr. Amin. Sebab disebabkan oleh rukun Islam kita ada 5. Sampai macam tu. Itu saya sentuh sedikit pasal seni bina Melayu. Itu belum lagi kita sentuh tiang, bumbung, atap. Macam-macam akal budi yang boleh dicungkil melalui yang berkaitan dengan Melayu, pemikiran Melayu yang diterjemahkan daripada pelbagai aspek. Okey, itu yang saya katakan tadi. Jadi Hasan Ahmad telah menggunakan istilah akal budi yang bermaksud lebih tinggi daripada intelektual. Kalau intelektual yang kita katakan sebagai kebijaksanaan, maksudnya aras akal budi tu up sikit. Dia naik satu level. Lebih sikit daripada kebijaksanaan tu. Dan telah definisi ini telah diperkemaskan oleh Nur Hashimah yang mengatakan bahawa akal budi itu merupakan cerminan kebijaksanaan mengungkap dan menguraikan makna. Itu kalau kita lihat daripada segi ilmu semantik dia lah. Okey, bagaimana kita nak uraikan makna, okey, dan kita cungkil daripada falsafah dan akal budinya. Untuk melihat perkataan ataupun ungkapan-ungkapan sebegini yang saya katakan tadi, kita tidak boleh melihatnya daripada segi mata biasa. Tetapi kena lihat daripada mata hati, iaitu pemikiran kita tu kena telus betul-betul, barulah kita tahu apa yang dimaksudkan oleh orang-orang lama. Okey, saya katakan masyarakat Melayu lama. Sebab apa? Sebab generasi pencipta pantun, okey, peribahasa, simpulan bahasa dah tak ada dah. Tak ada. Mungkin kita nampak ada ungkapan sekarang ni, ungkapan yang berbentuk implisit. Okey, tersirat juga. Apa beza yang dahulu? Sebab dalam metafora, kita ada dua metafora. Ada yang pertama, metafora tradisional. Okey, metafora tradisional ni kita melihat kepada ungkapan-ungkapan seperti pantun, peribahasa, kita lihat simpulan bahasa. Dekat mana cara kita nak memahaminya adalah daripada penginterpretasian semantik. Kita perlukan ilmu semantik bersama-samanya, bukan sekadar penginterpretasian biasa tetapi secara mendalam. Baru kita boleh tahu, okey, memahami apa yang telah terkandung dalam ungkapan sedemikian. Tetapi kalau kita lihat daripada yang kedua, iaitu metafora berbentuk linguistik. Itu metafora yang saya nampak banyak pengkaji-pengkaji pada masa kini menumpukan perhatian mereka terhadap kajian yang berbentuk metafora linguistik. Maksudnya dia tak ada berkaitan langsung dengan ungkapan-ungkapan yang kita susah nak faham tu, cuma perkataan-perkataan itu mungkin secara tersirat. Kita kena juga tafsirkan tetapi tidak memerlukan penginterpretasian secara mendalam untuk kita memahami dia. Okey, seterusnya kita lihat kepada kelahiran semantik inkuisitif. Okey, semantik inkuisitif yang mana kalau kita lihat dalam bidang semantik, okey, ada pelayarannya. Okey, iaitu bermula daripada semantik skrip. Okey, yang mana semantik skrip ini kita katakan juga sebagai semantik falsafah. Okey, semantik falsafah sebab apa dia syarat dengan, dia berkaitan dengan perkataan biasa berhubung dengan linguistiknya, dan perkembangannya adalah kita namakan dia sebagai semantik linguistik. Apa yang ada dalam semantik linguistik adalah kita melihat kita menggunakan kerangka linguistik tertentu dan kebanyakannya berfokus kepada nahu. Nahu bahasa. Itu yang pertama, iaitu dalam peringkat semantik skrip. Okey, dan yang kedua, kita beralih yang kedua iaitu semantik resonance. Okey, yang mana semantik resonance ini telah menambah pada saya, memberikan satu nilai tambah dengan memperlihatkan tentang pemikiran. Okey, kognitif penutur itu. Dia memasukkan kognitif penutur. Okey, dan yang ketiga iaitu semantik inkuisitif, iaitu yang telah terkenal pada saya sekitar 2014. Okey, yang mana pendekatan ini telah dibina sendiri oleh Prof. Dr. Nur Hashimah lah. Okey, iaitu SV saya yang lama dulu. Itu saya ni di antara orang yang awal sebenarnya menggunakan data-data tertentu untuk kita terapkan semantik inkuisitif tu. Okey, itu kalau kita lihat daripada segi perjalanan. Macam mana sehingga adanya semantik inkuisitif ini adalah apabila kita melihat semantik resonance yang mana bermulanya pengkajian daripada Chartis Black. Okey, Chartis Black melihat daripada simpulan bahasa yang berkonsepkan kaki dan mata. Dan apa yang telah dikatakan oleh Chartis Black meletakkan simpulan bahasa yang berobjekkan kaki, berkonsepkan kaki merujuk kepada bawahan. Sebab kaki kita di bawah. Jadi dia telah memberikan satu konsep daripada segi pemaknaan, kaki dalam Melayu adalah merujuk kepada yang negatif. Itu berdasarkan apa yang saya baca melalui penulisan Chartis Black. Dia mengatakan bahawa kaki dalam masyarakat Melayu merujuk kepada sesuatu yang negatif. Diberi contoh, dalam masyarakat Melayu kita ada kaki judi, kita ada kaki botol, kita ada kaki pukul, kaki perempuan, semua negatif. Okey, sebab oleh kerana kaki itu objek di bawah, dia meletakkan darjat kaki itu rendah martabatnya dan membawa kepada fitur negatif. Adakah benar apa yang telah dikatakan oleh Chartis Black? Persoalannya sendiri. Okey, kalau kita lihat, okey, kaki botol. Contohnya kaki botol. Kenapa kaki botol? Yang minum arak tu mulut. Kenapa tak mulut botol? Secara logik kan, kita kaki botol. Mulut botol tak boleh. Tangan botol tak boleh. Tak boleh. Sebab orang Melayu dulu guna kaki botol. Dia tak dapat menjawab yang itu. Jadi kegagalan, boleh kita katakan kegagalan dia menjawab kenapa tangan, bukan tangan atau mulut dipilih untuk menggantikan kaki itu, membawa maksud bahawa kita perlukan satu lagi aras untuk melihat ataupun menjawab sehingga ke peringkat konkret. Stop akad umbi. Misalnya. Okey, dan itu wujudnya lah semantik inkuisitif. Yang mana Hasan Ahmad menjawab, sebenarnya kaki bukanlah membawa kepada sesuatu yang negatif. Tetapi kaki itu adalah simbol kekuatan. Itu ia. Kuat. Contohnya kalau kita katakan kaki botol, dia suka kuat minum arak. Kaki TV, dia kuat tengok TV. Dan begitu juga kaki-kaki yang lain. Kaki bola misalnya, mungkin dia kuat main bola. Macam tu. Kekuatan. Itu baru betul. Bukannya kaki itu merujuk kepada yang negatif. Itu kita lihat bagaimana perjalanan ataupun pelayaran ilmu semantik di Malaysia. Okey, ini semantik inkuisitif, maksudnya dia akan melihat kepada objek. Okey, ada data corpus, kita tak boleh melihat sesuatu, memperkatakan sesuatu tanpa bukti. Jadi kita gunakan data corpus itu sebagai bukti linguistik ya. Okey, bahasa kiasan, okey biasanya digunakan terhadap bahasa kiasan, pencungkilan makna yang tersirat serta melibatkan akal budi Melayu. Okey, dan sebenarnya dalam semantik inkuisitif ni, yang ini. Okey, bangau oh bangau. Inilah konsep dia. Bangau oh bangau. Kita nak dengar sikit lagu bangau oh bangau tu. Kita dengar sekejap je. Dah lama tak dengar kan? Kita bagi tengok, dengar lagu ni.
Tapi, kenapa sang bangau begitu sedih sekali? Dan amat kurus pula.
Macam mana aku tak basah, hujan tiba aku, hujan tiba aku. Hujan, oh hujan, mengapa tiba kayu? Macam mana aku tak tiba, kakak makin aku, kakak makin aku. Kenapa panggil hujan? Macam mana aku tak panggil? Ular nak makan aku. Ular nak makan aku.
Okey, saya henti di situ. Yang mana kalau kita lihat daripada lagu itu, apa yang timbul ialah persoalan. Persoalan demi persoalan sehingga kita dapat satu jawapan yang konkret. Okey, itulah yang kita lihat asas kepada inkuisitif. Okey, asas kepada inkuisitif yang mana persoalan yang pertama, bangau, oh bangau, kenapa kau kurus? Macam mana aku tak kurus? Ikan tak mau timbul. Ikan pula menjawab kenapa dia tak timbul, sebab rumput panjang sangat. Dan ia terhenti apabila ular menjawab katak itu adalah makanan dia. Itu adalah lumrah dan fitrah yang tak boleh ditolak dan dinafikan. Okey, jadi kalau kita lihat daripada sini, okey, apa yang berlaku daripada lagu tadi, lirik tu yang kita dengar dan kita hayati, walaupun itu lagu kanak-kanak yang kita lihat, sebenarnya kita lihat macam mana yang mana daripada dia ada dua sisi. Dia ada sisi yang negatif, dia ada sisi yang positif. Kalau sisi yang negatif kita lihat, okey, watak yang ada dalam lagu itu sering menuding jari dan menyalahi pihak yang terdekat dengan dia. Kenapa dia tak pernah menyalahkan diri sendirilah? Kenapa kau kurus? Dia kurus sebab orang lain, objek lain. Maksudnya, aku kurus sebab ikan. Ikan pula marah benda lain. Begitulah dalam keadaan kehidupan. Kalau kita lihat itu daripada sisi negatif. Tetapi kita jangan lihat pada sisi negatif. Okey, kita lihat daripada sisi positif. Yang mana dalam sisi positif, persoalan demi persoalan itu sangat bagus dalam penyelidikan. Sebab akhirnya kita akan mendapat satu jawapan yang kukuh, konkret, sehingga tak boleh lagi dipersoalkan. Itu yang kita lihat sebenarnya, walaupun lagu itu kita nampak macam negatif, tetapi di sebalik negatif ada positif dia. Okey. Dan ini adalah pendekatan yang digunakan. Okey, kita ada 3 tahap, iaitu tahap skrip yang saya katakan tadi. Kita tak buang semua tahap ya. Dia bercampur. Maksudnya kita lihat makna harfiah, iaitu peringkat yang pertama, dan yang kedua kita lihat resonance, pemikiran, apa berkaitan dengan data linguistik yang saya katakan tadi, penggunaan korpus misalnya. Okey, dan yang ketiga, kita mencari jawapan, itu yang kita gunakan bangau tadi. Kenapa yang ni? Itu yang macam contohnya yang saya katakan tadi. Kenapa kaki digunakan untuk kaki botol? Kenapa tak bukan mulut botol? Jadi dekat situ persoalan yang kita timbulkan dalam pendekatan ini pada tahap yang ketiga. Okey, seterusnya kita pergi kepada pemakanan Melayu. Yang sebenarnya kalau kita lihat unsur pemakanan Melayu, bukan sekadar di Asia, di Amerika Latin juga dah ada kepercayaan, dia ada kepercayaan sendiri terhadap unsur makanan. Jadi malah misalnya kalau orang Melayu, kita terkenal dengan unsur-unsur tertentu. Jangan makan ini, makanan ni sejuk. Biasanya kita lihat untuk orang Melayu, orang lelaki dikurang sikit, ada pantang-pantang ni. Paling tinggi pun mungkin bisu badan, dia akan guna. Tapi orang Melayu biasanya bila dia melahirkan anak, mak-mak kita dia, jangan makan. Sebab apa mak? Ikan ni gatal. Jangan makan. Kenapa mak? Ubi ni berangin. Nanti kau kembung perut. Itu sebenarnya dia ada kaitan unsur-unsur itu, dia berkait rapat dengan pantang larang Melayu. Dan tetapi sebenarnya pantang larang Melayu itu, yang dinyatakan itu, berkaitan dengan kesihatan seseorang. Okey, kadang-kadang kita lihat dalam negara kita pada masa kini, masyarakat kini dia dah rimas dengan pantang larang sebenarnya. Dah rimas sebab mungkin ada yang tidak percaya dan melihat daripada konsep perubatan moden itu adalah lebih baik daripada mengamalkan pantang larang. Tetapi percayalah saya cakap, pengamatan itu sebenarnya bergantung kepada individu tertentu. Kadang-kadang mungkin saya tidak alah terhadap sesuatu makanan, tapi orang lain mungkin alah terhadap makanan tersebut. Ini sekitar 2017, kawan saya sendiri, ini pengalaman. Kawan saya kata, mak dia tak berapa pandai sangat nak jaga dia bersalin. Jadi dibagilah semua. Nak ikutkan sayur kan kita boleh makan, bagus. Sayur kan. Jadi dibagi sayur bayam. Okey, lepas makan bayam tu, tak lama badan dia gigil. Bentan. Kalau orang Melayu katakan bentan. Badan dia sejuk. Jadi sebenarnya memang betul kata orang tu sedikitlah. Bukan kita tak ada uji kaji secara saintifik. Secara jujur saya tak ada. Kalau kita nak ada ni saya rasa 10 tahun tak siap. Sebab kena ada lab. Jadi cuma saya biasanya gunakan data kajian orang yang dah buat. Misalnya kalau saya lihat rebung itu tajam. Kenapa rebung tu tajam? Misalnya kita lihat orang data korpus mengatakan jangan makan rebung. Nanti kosek perut. Sekali tengok aku makan rebung, perut aku sakit misalnya. Okey, yang mana saya lihat betul ke apa yang diperkatakan, kita lihat berdasarkan data corpus. Jadi apabila saya lihat daripada data di India, banyak kajian-kajian daripada pengkaji di India mengatakan bahawa betul rebung itu ada cyanida. Okey, ada cyanida, racun. Dalam istilah bahasa Melayunya racun. Okey, yang mana cyanida itu, sebab itu kalau kita lihat bagaimana orang Melayu proses rebung. Dia tak ada pun ambil rebung tu terus masak. Tu bodoh. Sebab orang Melayu proses rebung itu dia rebus dulu, buang air, ada kali dimasamkan dulu rebung tu baru dimasak. Sebab apa? Sebab dia nak buang dia punya cyanida tu, tapi tak adalah kita tahu. Kalau mak kita ambil rebung, dia pergi rebus, tak ada kenapa mak kena rebus. Kita ingatkan mungkin nak lembutkan. Rupanya itu sebab dia. Dan ada kajian yang mengatakan bahawa di India ada pesakit yang meninggal, okey, yang telah diletakkan bawah pengawasan emergency disebabkan makan rebung dengan banyak tanpa proses. Sampai macam tu. Lepas tu kita lihat, okey, ada perkaitan. Jadi betul lah kata orang tu. Jadi saya yang merelatekan. Saya yang mempertalikan setiap tu ada kewajaran kenapa begitu. Dan daripada kewajaran begitulah saya lihat kepada data peribahasa. Kita nak tengok contohnya yang berobjek rebung. Apa maksud dia? Yang berobjek daging tadi. Apa maksud dia? Yang berobjek pisang. Apa maksud dia? Kita nak tengok adakah sama ciri-ciri tersebut dengan apa yang berlaku dalam segi perubatan. Okey, daripada segi kajian-kajian yang telah dilakukan oleh orang. Okey, dan apabila melihat berhubung dengan unsur-unsur ini, sebenarnya saya banyak merujuk kepada kitab tip. Kalau siapa yang familiar tentang kitab tip, iaitu Harun Makpiah. Okey, dia ada memperlihatkan tentang banyak yang berhubung dengan makanan-makanan Melayu. Okey, dia ada macam kelebihan-kelebihan, sebab kat situ lah orang tengok apa petua-petua, contohnya petua darah tinggi, baru kita tahu daun ni untuk darah tinggi, daun ini untuk diabetik. Lihat kepada Harun Makpiah, boleh baca untuk kita punya tatapan. Manalah tahu tiba-tiba anak kita sakit perut, orang kata bila baca kat situ dia kata bila anak tu kembung, rebuskan daun jambu batu. Jambu batu, try bagi selawat bagi anak. InsyaAllah. Itu petua-petua yang kita tak boleh nak tolak ke tepi walaupun kita ada. Paling mudah pergi klinik, dapatkan ubat cerit beret, elok. Tapi tak mustahil kalau kita makan ubat pun tak ada reaksi kepada seseorang. Okey, itu tidak mustahil. Okey, dan dalam kitab perubatan Melayu, iaitu kitab Tik ini, ada 4 unsur iaitu api, air, tanah dan angin. Okey, yang mana setiapnya itu perlu ada keseimbangan ya di antara satu dengan yang lain. Okey, dan kalau kita lihat daripada pengkategorian makanan tadi berunsur yang saya katakan tadi, pada mulanya saya jumpa ada 4 unsur yang terkenal, iaitu sejuk, panas, berangin dan bisa. Itu daripada kajian daripada Hashim Awang tahun 1990. Sebenarnya itu dah siri baru, dia ada buku lagi lama daripada tu. Okey, yang saya tengok tu tahun 1990 lah. Okey, dan yang mana telah ditambah baik oleh Muhammad Koharudin, yang mana kita lihat sebenarnya orang Melayu selain ada 4 unsur tu, dia ada makanan gatal dan tajam. Okey, gatal dan tajam. Contohnya, orang kata jangan makan ni, dia gatal. Betul. Contoh, macam saya kata, kita mungkin ada audience di sini yang kurang bersetuju dengan apa saya cakap. Ya ke? Aku makan ni elok je, tak gatal. Seperti mana yang saya katakan tadi, reaksi kesan itu terhadap individu itu adalah tidak sama. Itu saya ulang balik. Supaya nanti datang pula doktor pakar kat sini marah saya, apa hal cakap pantang larang? Sedangkan kita tak perlu pun berbantang, sekarang kita moden. Pergi rumah doktor tu. Doktor tu pantang sebenarnya. Okey, seterusnya kita lihat kepada ini apa yang saya dapati. Okey, daripada lebih kurang 500 peribahasa Melayu. Banyak kan? Okey, saya lihat pada Malay Civilization. Okey, dulu ada di Atma ada Malay Civilization lah. Okey, jadi kat situ kita boleh ambil daripada objek-objek tertentu. Contohnya awak tarik durian, kita akan lihat pelbagai peribahasa durian. Kita lihat, contoh kita nak lihat daging, kita akan lihat pelbagai peribahasa yang berobjekkan daging. Itu yang pada saya sangat baguslah. Dan apabila saya mengambil data daripada Malay Civilization tu, saya kukuhkan dengan buku daripada buku peribahasa Melayu. Okey, buku peribahasa Melayu untuk kita kukuhkan betul atau tidak peribahasa tersebut. Biasanya peribahasa pun dah bertambah. Kalau Malay Civilization tu banyak peribahasa yang dah baru. Orang baru buat. Macam budak-budak nak up tu pun kadang ada peribahasa kan, sebab dia ambil daripada data linguistik. Jadi auto masuk dalam korpus tu, dia tak boleh nak buang. Jadi kita kena lihat daripada kamus Melayu yang lama. Okey, saya lihat daripada Abdullah Hussein. Itu memang kamus lama. Saya lihat macam mana, sebab kita nak tengok akar budi, kita lihat kepada pantun peribahasa yang lama. Untuk saya kukuhkan apa yang saya nak carilah. Okey, makanan berunsur sejuk kita lihat. Okey, yang mana dalam kitab perubatan kesufian, makanan yang sejuk dikatakan memberi kesan merendahkan metabolisme badan kita. Itu yang telah dikatakan daripada kitab kesufian. Okey, dan daripada perubatan Cina dia mengatakan sejuk dikatakan boleh mengurangkan unsur panas yang berlebihan dan bertindak sebagai ejen penyah toksik. Sebab tu biasanya orang makan durian dengan manggis. Itu padanan yang elok. Sebab durian itu konsepnya panas. Tapi manggis itu sejuk. Dia boleh makan bersama. Okey, sebab dia nak nyah toksikkan haba dalam pemakanan itulah. Okey, dan bagi orang Melayu, makanan yang dikategorikan dalam kategori makanan sejuk adalah makanan yang mempunyai ciri-ciri berair. Okey, berlendir, bergetah, masam dan menjala. Ini ikut orang Melayu. Orang Melayu kata inilah makanan-makanan yang sejuk. Yang makanan-makanan ini juga, selain saya lihat daripada kitab tip, saya banyak melihat kepada kitab perbidanan Melayu. Macam nak jadi mak bidan. Tapi betul saya kena khatamkan kitab tu. Dia ada memang kitab ensiklopedia perbidanan Melayu. Yang tu saya kena tengok. Semua ada. Saya tengok satu-satu betul ke kenapa dia kata macam tu, apa semua. Itu ilmu bidan lah. Okey, sebab kita nak kaitkan segalanya kan. Okey, dan makanan seperti timun, tembikai bacang, bendi, pucuk paku, kangkung, itu di antara sayur-sayur atau kategori makanan yang kita katakan dalam kategori makanan sejuk. Ini di antara peribahasa yang saya kumpulkan yang berobjekkan sejuk ni tadilah. Kita lihat pisang, pau, kundur, asam, itu dia ada antara contoh dia. Dan saya mengambil contoh daripada peribahasa yang berobjekkan pisang. Okey, kalau kita teliti, okey, pisang, contohnya dapat pisang terkupas yang merujuk kepada seseorang yang boleh mendapat keuntungan dengan tiada bersusah payah. Okey, yang keduanya beruk berjumpa pisang. Okey, yang merujuk kepada orang tamak yang memperoleh keuntungan dengan mudah. Dan yang ketiga, sebagai kera mendapatkan pisang, iaitu sangat gembira. Apabila kita teliti balik, okey, itu daripada segi makna harfiah. Okey, kalau daripada pendefinisian yang macam saya kata image tadi, okey, kita lihat apa maksud dia. Yang saya nampak ialah pengaruh unsur sejuk dalam buah pisang dia telah diterjemahkan dalam peribahasa Melayu bagi menggambarkan emosi gembira seperti memperoleh keuntungan dan perasaan gembira itu sendiri. Dan bila kita lihat, okey, kenapa pisang tu orang dalam budaya Melayu, walaupun pisang tu sejuk tak baik juga dalam badan kita kan. Tapi dia ciri-ciri sejuk tu dia membawa kepada fitonet positif. Okey, fitopositif. Dan apabila kita lihat, okey, ini contoh penggunaan yang saya dapat daripada data corpus. Okey, data corpus iaitu contohnya kita ni sebagai budak yang berdiri bermain di tepi jalan dengan meleleh ingusnya berkehendakkan upahan pisang. Maksudnya untuk memujuk budak waktu dulu kan, mana ada jajan macam kita, tak ada lollipop. Dia ada pisang. Masuk rumah sebab takut kena langgar kapal, masuk rumah. Nak pisang tak? Budak pun berkejaran masuk ke rumah sebab pisang. Nampak tu nilai pisang tu sebagai upah tu dulu. Budak-budak memang suka makan pisang. Saya tak tahulah anak-anak hadirin sekalian. Tapi anak saya suka makan pisang. Habis kejap lagi pisang tersisir tu. Okey, yang kedua, Melayu mudah untuk digula. Tengok. Okey, kerana Melayu lembut hatinya. Maksudnya apa di sini? Okey, sebiji pisang cukup upahnya. Itu kiasan tu sebenarnya. Jadi apa yang dikata kat situ orang Melayu ni mudah nak berubah hati. Bagi pisang lah elok. Tadi kata no, lepas yes. Kejap aja ditukar kata orang tu. Itu daripada data linguistik yang saya tak boleh mengada-adakan. Saya kena cari daripada data korpus. Yang ini paling payah. Sebab saya kena buktikan. Okey, melalui apa yang orang dah cakap. Okey, dan akhirnya baru kita lihat daripada contohnya kajian saya lihat okey, unsur sejuk dalam pemakanan Melayu antaranya manfaat pisang itu ialah menjadi penyembuh dan pengawal sakit tertentu. Ini saya dah ringkaskan daripada kajian. Sebab kalau kita nak baca kajian sains tu susah pula, panjang betul. Ya. Okey, yang kedua merangsang minda pelajar dan menjadikan mereka lebih peka dalam proses pembelajaran. Sebenarnya anak-anak nak pergi sekolah jangan biarkan berlapar. Bagi dia makan pisang. Betul, itu daripada kajian. Ini daripada kajian. Kajian ini bukan saya yang buat. Orang sains yang buat kajian ni. Okey, yang ketiga, mengawal kadar gula dalam darah serta mengurangkan mabuk dan alahan bagi ibu yang mengandung. Mabuk itu betul kalau kita lihat pantun Melayu, pisang emas di bawah belayar. Kenapa dia di bawah belayar? Itu pernah terkenal pada satu masa dulu. Saya rasa telah tular juga di media sosial yang mengatakan pisang itu kenapa di bawah belayar, di antara sebab dia dapat mengurangkan mabuk. Dulu mana ada ubat mabuk? Pisang tu sendiri. Okey, itu belum lagi kita lihat struktur standar pisang. Okey, yang mana standar pisang emas ya, pisang emas, bukan semua pisang. Sebab pisang emas secara fitrahnya dia tak akan masak serentak. Kecuali kita letak, sekarang ni kan dah ada teknologi. Dia ada macam bukan cuka tapi ada ubat dia, awak masukkan pisang, dalam masa 1-2 hari pisang dah masak. Tapi kalau kita lihat pisang yang tanpa ada campuran ubat-ubatan tertentu, pisang tu dia akan masak dalam tempoh masih lama. Dan dia akan masak sesisir ataupun sebiji-sebiji. Jadi kalau kita lihat pada masa dahulu, pelayaran biasanya makan masa berapa lama? Dia bukan macam sekarang. Booking aja AirAsia, kita terus saja pergi ke negara mana yang kita nak. Tapi kalau satu hari dulu, orang berlayar. Okey, berlayar tu akan mengambil masa yang lama. Berapa bulan, berapa purnama kata orang tu kalau pada masa dulu. Jadi diperlukan sesuatu bahan dan pisang ini adalah sangat bagus untuk dibawa kerana dia tinggi dengan khasiat dan karbohidrat. Itu fakta. Okey, sebab tu makan pisang pun walaupun dia mampu menghilangkan rasa mabuk dan cuma saya baca daripada kajian sebab dia kata dapat mampu mengawal gula dalam darah. Biasanya orang diabetik. Tapi mungkin bukan makan pisang sampai sesisir atau standar. Mungkin bilangan tertentu kalau makan sesisir rasa kejap lagi kita punya darah tu jadi 11-12 lah kot. Maksudnya dia tak elok untuk kesihatan kita seandainya makan secara berlebihan. Dan lagi satu apa yang saya nampak iaitu tryptophan. Okey, tryptophan yang dikandungi oleh pisang itu sendiri apabila telah ditukarkan kepada serotonin. Ini istilah sains. Okey, apabila ditukarkan kepada serotonin itu tadi, dia akan memberikan rasa tenang kepada pemakannya. Okey, no wonder lah ya. Sebab beruk makan pisang dia terkinjal-kinjal. Begitulah kisahnya. Maksudnya betul lah kot. Kan? Itu daripada segi kalau kita tengok monyet makan pisang, kejapnya dia terlompat-lompat. Sebab dia ada rasa tenang tu. Memberikan kepada pemakannya dan memberikan rasa gembira. Siapa yang rasa macam sakit hati, sedih, makan pisang. Mungkin lepas tu akan elok. Kita cuba lepas ni. Letak dekat depan bilik dekan tu ya. Letak standar pisang. Nanti staff yang murung tu boleh ambil pisang sebiji. Kita tengok berapa ramai yang murung sebenarnya. Rupanya makan pisang murung. Stres lah tu. Dekan duk buka pintu tengok seorang-seorang. Okey. Lepas tu kita ada unsur yang ini akal budi dia. Yang mana kita nampak terdapat keserasian antara unsur atau ciri-ciri sesuatu makanan dengan elemen pemaknaan dalam peribahasa. Okey, yang mana ciri-ciri sejuk misalnya yang terdapat dalam pisang telah dibuktikan dengan kesan-kesan positif kandungan memakan pisang itu sendiri. Okey, seterusnya kita lihat sekejap ya. Kita lihat daripada saya nak tunjukkan dualism. Dualism ini juga merupakan kajian saya berhubung dengan makanan. Jadi selain daripada lihat unsur-unsur makanan, akhirnya bila kita meneliti data-data peribahasa, saya nampak banyak peribahasa yang ada konsep gabungan. Sebagai contoh asam garam. Asam garam dalam kuali bertemu jua. Begitulah kalau kita lihat perumpamaan orang Melayu. Okey, dan asam garam itu biasanya dikaitkan dengan jodoh pertemuan. Okey, jodoh pertemuan. Macam mana asam garam boleh jodoh pertemuan? Betul lah. Satu asam tu tinggi pokoknya biasanya duduk dekat mana? Di bukit-bukit kan, di darat. Dan satu lagi garam duduk di mana? Di laut. Dan daripada jarak antara garam dengan asam ni tadi, dan akhirnya bertemu dekat mana? Kuali. Betul. Kita masak guna belanga apa semua tu, kita masukkan asam, garam sebagai perasa kita punya masakan. Betul lah. Kalau dah jodoh tak ke mana. Asam dan garam pun dalam kuali akhirnya bertemu. Begitu apa yang orang Melayu lihat. Sangat menarik dan sangat unik. Saya sangat berbangga. Okey, sebab apabila saya meneliti satu data-data peribahasa tu, saya macam dia automatik macam macam ni. Macam ni macam itulah kiranya. Itu saya tak mengkaji. Kiranya bukan saya buat kajian saintifik. Kalau buat kajian saintifik kita boleh tengok garam yang gajah makan gunakan tu kan. Macam mana pula dia punya kaedah. Itu saya ambil je data orang lain. Punyalah panjang dia punya segi saintifik dia ya. Okey, seterusnya kita lihat kepada konsep durian dan timun. Macam saya katakan tadi, durian dan timun itu adalah pasangannya berlawanan. Satu yang berunsur panas dan satu yang berunsur sejuk. Okey, sebagai contoh bagi durian dengan timun, orang yang berkuasa mudah mengalahkan orang lemah, dan begitu juga dengan peribahasa-peribahasa yang lain. Konsepnya orang-orang Melayu dulu bawa kepada kuasa untuk dualism durian dan timun. Kuasa. Okey, kuasa maksudnya durian itu kuasa yang besar. Kita lihat durian berbau. Cuba bawa dekat fakulti kita durian kang. Sekejap aja hidung kita dah ada durian lah. Sebab dia berbau, dia punya konsep dia. Dan kalau kita lihat ciri-ciri timun itu tidak berbau. Itu daripada bau, dia jual bau dah cukup. Itu belum lihat daripada fizikal dia. Durian itu besar. Besar daripada timun ni kita nampak apalah. Awak cuba hempaskan durian. Durian memang kita tak petik. Dia terhempas daripada pokok. Pecah? Tak. Cuba timun, awak ambil atas, pecah. Kita nampak sifat dia. Sebab apa? Sebab itu macam mana orang Melayu dulu, dia analogikan timun itu sebagai orang yang lemah. Okey, yang mana kita lihat digolek pun binasa, menggolek juga binasa. Orang kata itu perumpamaan yang diberikan kepada timun tadi. Macam mana hebatnya durian sehingga di mata Melayu itu, Melayu mengatakan durian itu raja durian. Hebat di negara kita ni, di antaranya sebab kita ada durian. Walaupun saya lihat kat media sosial duk sibuk sebut China pun dah ada durian juga. Saya nampak macam durian tu bukan durian yang real. Durian yang real adalah durian yang berbau. Cuba beli durian Thailand. Cuba betul-betul beli durian Thailand. Saya pernah beli durian Thailand. Durian dia kurang menyengat daripada bau dia. Durian kita juga lagi sedap, enak dan daripada segi bau dia lah ya. Okey, dan peribahasa ini zahirkan daripada sifat fizikal. Kita lihat fizikalnya. Okey, satu yang berair, lembut. Permukaan timun tu yang licin. Okey, mudah rosak. Jadi dinyatakan ataupun dianalogikan sebagai orang yang lemah. Manakala durian yang berduri terkena sakit, luka tangan kita, nak buka dia pun bukan mudah, guna parang, tak pandai buka, tak pandai cari pangsa, durian tak boleh buka. Itu ilmu durian pula. Kita nak buka bukan senang. Sebab tu ada durian, kalau tak pandai buka pun tak boleh makan durian. Kan? Hebatnya durian itu sehingga durian itu boleh mendominasi timun itu sendiri. Okey, itu perumpamaan yang diberikan terhadap durian dan timun. Ini data corpus yang saya dapat. Sebagai contoh saya ambil, Pak Uda tak boleh memberi ulasan mengenai hal itu. Pak Uda Omar mengatakan semuanya jelas kita ni timun dan mereka itu durian. Maksudnya dia sedar dia itu timun, orang biasa je nak lawan dengan durian memang akan kalah. Okey, ini sifat-sifat saya katakan mewakili perbezaan gender juga. Sebenarnya timun itu melambangkan sifat perempuan. Perempuan lembut dan lelaki diumpamakan dengan durian yang keras. Okey, ini boleh bacalah kalau nak tahu lebih lanjut boleh tanya saya pasal cempedak nangka. Cempedak nangka ni pun sangat seronok. Okey, sebab kita ada cerita Melayu pasal Sultan Mahmud mangkat di Julang. Okey, itu boleh lihat daripada dualism cempedak dan nangka. Okey, dan ini saya akhirilah. Okey, oleh kerana dah tamat tadi, saya akhiri dengan gurindam 12 Raja Ali Haji yang mana telah diubah sedikit daripada Tenas Effendi. Dia mengatakan bahawa jika hendak mengenal orang berbangsa, lihat kepada budi bahasa. Tanda orang tahukan diri bercakap dengan bahasa sendiri. Tanda orang memuliakan bangsa, kepada bahasanya ia berbangga. Tanda orang menjaga maruah, bahasanya tidak dipandang rendah. Tanda orang memegang adat, bahasa sendiri yang diangkat. Tanda orang yang berakal budi, bangga kepada bahasa sendiri. Tanda orang berfikiran panjang, bahasa sendiri yang ia julang. Tanda orang berhati mulia, bahasa sendiri yang ia pelihara. Okey, sekian daripada saya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ribuan terima kasih diucapkan kepada Dr. Julaina. Saya mohon maaf tiada sesi soal jawab dibenarkan. Sebab kita akan ada sesi paralel lepas ini. Besi ditempa, bukti tamadun, sejarah bangsa Sungai Batu. Salah dan silap jari disusun, moga berjumpa di lain waktu. Okey, saya serahkan semula kepada moderator Sister Arina untuk kendalian sesi seterusnya. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. So I'd like to read some announcement for the participants now. So next session is our parallel session 2. You may proceed to the seminar room. And the second one is you may proceed to take your packed lunch at the classroom 1 and 2 during the lunch break at 1 p.m. And lastly, you may view and read the poster presentation via the link that has been provided. And our session in the evening will start at 2 p.m. at the seminar room for the parallel session 3. And you are reminded to gather at the seminar room 3, which is here for the keynote speech session at 3 p.m. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima kasih Dr. Arina. Okay, terima kasih Dr. Arina. Ada apa-apa soalan di ujung? Okey, kita akan buka soalan pada ujung sesi. Okey, seterusnya kita akan pergi kepada Sister Nadia. Sister Nadia. Yang di online.